painting away here, I may as well go live. I've just got to get better at this live business. Give you another quick look at my little saucer. I've had Glad wrap over it overnight, so that way it keeps nice and fresh. Been a really busy weekend here. My youngest daughter has type 1 diabetes, so we had to do the one walk, or not had to, but we did a one walk, raising awareness and some funds for research. And one of our slogans is make diabetes type 1, make it type none. She's only 7 and she managed to unfortunately contract that when she was about just turned 2, actually, only just turned 2. So yeah, it's quite a harrowing experience for us as parents at the time. But we're thankful that we're very, very lucky to be able to manage it. But anyway, it's not about diabetes, it's about this little painting. Well, it's not a little painting, is it? 1 metre by 1 metre. Yeah, it's going to be, I'm hoping to possibly get it into a competition this year, into a couple of competitions. So as you can see, I'm just tickling around some of these areas. Now, I've often said to you, let the painting dictate your own terms. So as you're painting, I'm finding these little lows and darks and highlights that I can just pretty much maximize or, capitalize on. So in here, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going away from the actual leaf a little bit. So this is a little different as to what this is, but I'm changing it because I don't want that little node or whatever, that little vine coming off the side there. So I'm just getting rid of that. And the beauty of being an artist is you can pretty much change things around to suit yourself. But I'm also trying to stay as true as I can. So I'm just going to bring that shadow through there a little bit. Like I said, I've only got 5 minutes. My wife's just dropping my youngest off to school. And then I've got to get out of here to get work. So just got to drop all the, like I said, we had that fundraiser on the weekend for diabetes awareness. And so what we've done is we've hired a lot of the gazebos and things like that. So I've just got to take them back this morning. But I thought, well, I've got a little bit of time. Why not go live and just, and another good thing about the 5 Minute Advantage, which is a little ebook that I put together, is that, see, I've got this, I just got this out of my rack, which is over there, the rack of artworks that I've got that I'm currently working on. And I've just left this on the easel so that when I get up in the morning for my coffee or whatever it is, I come straight in here and I can, well, it just grabs my attention. I think, well, why not just pick up the brush and do a little bit, which is what I've just managed to do. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just maximizing some of these little areas. There's some darks and lights. Oh, a little bit too light and I went to the wrong area. I don't know if you can see that, but I've just gone a little bit too light right in there, and if you can, that's picking up. So now what I'll do is I've got my two little tubs of water. That one cleans up the majority of the paint off, and then I've got my cleaner water over here. Oops, sorry, moving the camera around. Got my cleaner water over here that I use to be able to dilute the paint down. But now that I've got that nice clean brush, I'll just show you. I can move that away, do it before it dries too much. But I'll push that up into these outer edges where I think there are a few. These leaves get a little translucent, so where there's some lighter and darker highlights. Got my little filbert just for sort of detailed work. And as you can see, look at that. I've just pretty much, as an eraser, rubbed that out. It has to be dry underneath. If it's fresh paint underneath, it might cause a bit of drama. But being nice and dry, it doesn't wash away that base coat or that underglaze. Get all artistic. All right, so I'm just sort of, like I said, I'm just having a play here. I've got some orange, Might just see if I can bring some more highlights out. And kind of make it, these leaves get these beautiful oranges and yellows and as you can see, crimsons and all these beautiful colours. And they get quite translucent. You can kind of see the sun must be coming through here on this photo. And even though that is a nice yellow flower in its leaf in itself, it does get quite, I think it gets translucent. It must like sort of, here it's still a little green, but it pushes the sun through and really, you know, like you get some darker and lighter areas. As you can see, I'm just sort of just tickling the brush around these areas, and then I'll go back through later and really start to highlight. Like in the belly of that little bit of colour, I'll really cake on that orange. It really makes it look like it's giving texture to that leaf. Have a look at this guy, would you? I've just got to show you this guy. Have a look at this guy. He sits there and watches. He knows he's not allowed on the carpet, don't you? You know you're not allowed on the carpet. Mum goes crook. Yeah, I love you, big boy. It's my #1 fan. No matter what sort of day you're having, they're always happy to see you when you get home. I don't know if you've seen him anyway. Hopefully you did. Oh dear. I'm terrible at this sort of thing, aren't I? I've just got to be careful how I do this, otherwise I'll kick the tripod. Oh, which I just did. Move out the way. Curse myself. Right, now. So I've got to keep working on this big leaf. I don't know how I'm going to go getting into this. There's a magenta, what they call the magenta competition coming up soon. And I don't usually enter many artworks into competitions, but they actually asked me to. They said, gee, my sister's really good on these, entering all these competitions, and they said to her a while ago, see if your brother wants to add a few artworks this year, or at some time. Just going to start putting this vein through here, some of these veins with the crimson. I'm not going to worry about painting, changing the colour. Washing the brush off. Now that's going through there. Like this is where I'm starting to stray a little. I'm torn because I really want to put one of the veins through here, but it's going to come onto that angle there. And they really need to, when you put these, I guess sort of these veins on the leaf, that's how I can explain, best I can explain it. They kind of come to the points, right to these tips. So I'm just going to bring that through there. Bring one of these down. Oh, tell you what, I'm a little bit shaky this morning. Probably because I've got an audience of none. No one watching. No thumbs up. Nothing. Everyone's getting ready for work. Right, I'm going to take that down to there. I'm going to jump in there. See how we go. Make my own little vein through here. Doesn't look too bad. And you can go a little thicker later on. Like I said, I've just got 5 minutes, so. And the good thing about, like I said, that little 5-minute advantage ebook that I created, I'm not trying to plug myself, and I don't care if you want to download it. I actually made it for myself, but I did turn it into an ebook because I thought, no, this is quite handy. So it's the first ebook I ever made, and it's very basic, but it does just help you out with some inspiration, getting your thoughts together, and also just how to stay a little bit more productive. Just going to go down there. I'd like to go up a little. Actually, I'd like to go up there and then bring that down into there, which I've got a tiny bit of water on the end of my brush there. Right, you're going to go through there. I've got a little bit of a dark spot there. Little. Put that down. Bring that down. Right. Detailed brush here. Now here, this is where you can stray from your own paint, like from the reference. Here I pushed out a little bit when I was just putting that detail in a second ago, and instead of trying to rub that out, I might just capitalise on that, and just sometimes the painting. What does Bob Ross say? I'll probably misquote it, but happy little mistakes, is it? Something like that. And I wouldn't say it was a mistake, but yeah, it's just, it pushed out on that little area there. So I'll capitalise on that because it kind of makes it look like it's part of the natural flow of the vine leaf in this case. So that's a bit dark in there too. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of that, a little bit of that crimson, paint it in. Nice. Again, a bit more crimson. We're still pretty much in the blocking in stage here on this side. This side over here, if you can see it, is kind of just about rub my wet brush over it, full of paint. Big line would look nice, wouldn't it? But anyway, I'm kind of getting that one under control. I'll go back and just work on these veins a little, might thin them off a little bit, and use some yellows to really sort of, push out and make those little veins look really thin. And as I was saying before, to make them really highlight while I'm on it, and I may as well do it. So I know I've got my little detailed brush. I hope I'm not giving the Riverland, my Riverland friend, some anxiety. But I'm just going to grab a little bit of that lemon yellow there. Might be cadmium yellow, but I'm just going to call it lemon yellow. Now, as you can see, that's a nice bright yellow. To really make the belly of some of these look to stand out and give you that 3D effect, I'll just start to paint, as I was saying earlier, I'll just paint in those areas, and look at that, it's really starting to just push those little lumps and bumps that you get in these vine leaves. They kind of almost look like one of them little popping plastics that you send your artworks or any fragile stuff off with all the little bubbles. The little plastic bubbles that we all love to pop. But as you can see, that just makes that stand out a little bit more. My paint's getting a little harder. Did have it in the Glad wrap overnight, but where was that? So now I'll just sort of touch in the center there, the little bit of white, and I'll just layer it. Acrylic's a little different than oil. Oil just blends beautifully, let's face it. Acrylics not so much. They really are a different beast. They're definitely a different medium as opposed to oils. The fundamentals are the same, but you really do need to, if you're going to transition from the two, you really need to go back to the drawing board in a lot of cases, if that makes sense. All right, I'm just going to grab a little bit more of that crimson, bring that through. Is there any more crimson in there? I'll just do a couple of little dots in here and just sort of make it look like there's a little bit too much. Just going to push that off a little bit. Yes, I did just lick my finger and push that off. A lot of my DNA gets on these paintings. Might sound disgusting, but I'll tell you what, your finger and all that sort of stuff, people say don't touch it because you'll get grease and things like that. I don't know, I reckon if anyone ever does it once enough, or if it's authentic, they'll definitely get enough DNA off my paintings. Not that I'd ever be that famous, but still. Hey, compared to some of the work that's out there too, can't give myself too much of a hard time. Right, I'm just gonna, like I said, probably shouldn't be doing this with my little detail brush, but it's just what I've got in my hand at the moment. And I'm just letting those, the lighter areas dictate the terms here. Look at that. It's just making that start to really push out nicely. But I will get away from... Oh, okay. Well, this is where I'm getting a little muddled. I was trying to do the veins. So I'm just going to get back to that little vein. Little veins or capillaries or whatever they are around the actual leaf. So I'm just going to bring that in there. And come to the top. I kind of get a little bit more of a curve happening there. So what I'll do, and I've got also a little bit of raw umber in there as well. So the I'm just sort of blending between the raw umber and the crimson there at the moment. Pretty sure it's crimson. Could even be permanent brown matter. I might just see if it is, just so that I'm not leading anyone astray if they get really technical on the colours. Yeah, that looks, it's actually permanent brown. There's no brown in that at all. That looks pretty much like a real maroon to me, but or crimson. But yeah, I'm just using that permanent brown madder, M-A-D-D-E-R. Not that it really means anything to you guys, but all right. So there's another vein going up there. So I'm just going to start to just sort of capitalise on these little areas, make it look like those sort of little, you know, nuances in nature. How's that for a word? Nuances. To sort of just get picked up, whether it's part of the reference, it's not really. So like I said, I'm sort of straying from the reference here a little. But there's darks and there's lights. So a couple of these creases that I've put in with the filbert are really, really nice. I'm capitalising on them. See that? I've just sort of found some thicker areas. So instead of trying to paint the whole line, I'm just going to find these little areas and then and paint those in with that crimson. I'm just going to call it crimson for the sake of the exercise. Just going to get, my brush is getting a little dry there. Another thing, if you really want to, you can just poke the tip of your brush into your water. But if you really want to draw some water up, just leave it in there for a little second, you know, like, so you've got your brush and you really want to get it nice and wet. Probably can't see this, but you just leave the tip in there and it will draw that water up into the bristles. Actually draws it up, especially if the brush is a little dry. Now that's nicely loaded with water, that little brush, at the moment. As you can see, possibly from the last live, I altered my my easel a little. I've brought a little shelf out so I can get quite a little bit of, I can get my 2 tubs of water. I can get my little saucer on there, plus even fit my tablet, which is a 10-inch tablet. So I've got a fair bit of room on here. Plus I can still get nice and close to the artwork. I'm just going to pretend there's another little fake one in there, but I'm not going to highlight it too much. That's fairly light in there. So this one comes in nice and dark. So I'm going to come up there, give that a nice little jagged ridge in there. And then I'm going to bring it right down to that peak and then kick it out a little. Kind of kicks up a bit there. Just bring it out past the actual painted line that I've got in there. Just give it a nice little tip to the end of that leaf. Grab a little bit more in there. And this is why it is painstaking, but this is where I go. And usually if I'm here on my own, I just put a podcast on or something, and you just get lost in the whole process. And I tell you what, it's a great productive day. You're not feeling too productive within yourself, start to paint. If you've got time on your hands, that is. Why not? So I'm just grabbing some of those darker areas, maybe grabbing some shadow. Just going to highlight some of these areas too. So there's a nice little vein coming off here, according to the reference. I've just heard my wife pull up, so I reckon that's the end of this live, guys. And I will be back. Not sure when. Don't know when. Don't know how. I'll be back. Rightio, that's there. Got that. Now I'm just going to bring that a little bit more of a peak out here. And like I said, you can start to maximise these little darks and lows. Anyway, guys, time for me to get to work. And thanks for joining me. I've got 0 people watching, but that's cool. No worries. You have a great day, and I'll see you in the next live or the next video that I put together. Catch ya.